Hey everybody, welcome to iHeart 3D Printing. And in my last video, the video that precedes this, basically showed you a video about me starting a business, maybe back in August or September, I don't remember when, but I started a business in 3D printing. Basically, I got some filament, as you can see, all this filament, and I brought it into my sign shop, and I wasn't able to sell it or had a chance to sell it because the sign shop and the other business that I owned just weren't making the bills. And I won't go into the details, it doesn't really matter. Basically, I rented a big space at a time when I had a business doing really well, and I knew I wanted to do other things, so I got a space big enough to house all the ideas that I wanted to do. And I really didn't set out to do a sign shop, it just kind of became one of those things where you buy the printer for a different purpose, and then you wind up making signs as some side money, and then it grew into something a little more than part-time but not full-time. And it wasn't my passion to do signs. My passion is 3D printing, and it's probably the only consistent passion that I've had, like I've said in other videos. So I decided to get some filament. I put together multiple 3D printers now. I'm pretty good at building them from scratch, getting them designed, getting the material milled and cut to my specifications. And I was gonna do a 3D printer business out of the sign shop, but when one business couldn't make the rent, none of them could make the rent because they kind of ping pong back and forth to cover the bills. I made that video, and before you know it, I'm realizing that I already need to close or get ready to exit that space, bring all my work home. And that's what I've done, and I'm going to show you what I've done. I've been the past month trying to convert my house, go back to a home-based business. It's a lot different than I started my first home-based business back in 2012. I was married for already 2 years. We had no kids. Now I have a daughter. So yeah, it's not as easy when you have kids to try and do a business. And I'm the kind of parent that I want to be very into my kid's life, which it's kind of a weird thing, but I'll say this: you start a business so you can have more time at home or with family, and then because you're so often with your home at home or with your family, you're not trying to start your business, so you need to go find work. I don't know if that makes sense, but now you're doing the exact opposite of what you intended to do. Because I'm home, they're so close to me that I don't even do the business, and it makes me need to go find a job. But I'm not giving up. I do want to do a 3D printer business. I love this. And how about this? I'm going to show you some of the home-based business. I'm still trying to do signs from home, and I'll show you a little bit more of my 3D printer. All right, guys, so this is the garage that you've probably seen in a few of my other videos. And there's my vinyl printer. And there's a table that I'm getting ready to temporarily hold the vinyl so I can chop it up in the back. The rolls of filament. I did have a bunch of 3D printers here that were pretty junky, and I got rid of them. Well, getting rid of them. I guess at the time of this video they're still here. The MakerBot 5th generation. Terrible printer. I almost gave up. And the Lulzbot TAS 4, which was a great printer for its time. Still is a great printer. I mean, it's a good starter printer. All right, here we go, guys. And the filament that I couldn't sell, I just didn't have time. And I'm going to try and do that again, but I'm going to have to think of a different way to sell it. And my printer, as always, working hard, doing really cool things. See if we can make this go pretty fast. Nothing spectacular here. Alright, guys. Nylon filament dryer. I've upgraded since using a 3D printer bed. And here's where I'm gonna make my signs. Like I said, I moved all my stuff here. Still got a lot of stuff to sort through. Linear rails. Other computers that are still very good and very fast. Love these PCB boards. I wish people would still make them. There's a way to do this where you don't break the leads, so you mount it this way and then tape it up the back so your strain's right here. A lot of people solder right off that joint right there and then run out, and then your weakness is here. But if you do it this way, maybe I'll back up, you can see how that works. Aluminum plate to hold the bed, and a whole bunch of monitors from when I owned my own business. And yeah, so that's the rub, guys. My businesses are closed. I don't have any employees no more. Still making 3D printers with this saw. That my first video to YouTube. Well, I use this bag to keep the moisture out at night. But yeah, I'm still trying to make it work. You can see I got a lot of stuff to do. Computers to go through, there are hard drives to wipe, data to back up, cash registers. The first batch of filament I got is this one. I wound up getting a different supplier after I committed to the first supplier. So these guys were a little slow, but I thought their filament was spectacular compared to my other stuff, which was still pretty good. Alright guys, so let me make a final thoughts. I always like to end these off rather than just stopping. Alright guys, so that was a tour of, well, an explanation of what happened in my business, a tour of my home-based business I'm trying to get going. Some final thoughts. Is there a market for a 3D printer retail store? I actually think there is. I think people have gotten programmed into thinking that they can't buy this stuff locally, so they just default to Amazon, but I was getting people to come over to the shop and buy. Even had a question today. Here we go. This is a way more comfortable position. Question today in an email if I was open. Like anything, it takes time to build a business. It takes a lot of commitment. I think that I had too many irons in the fire with 3 or 4 businesses going. One of them was me helping my wife. So it's good to have that, like, narrow down my focus. I still need the sign shop to pay the bills, and I could make a 2-hour video and still be rambling. There's just a lot to consider right now, a lot to go through. And one of the downfalls, or one of the things I've learned from starting my 3D printer business, is that there's a lot of people who want 3D printers, but they don't want to buy them a Chinese printer and then have to figure out all the stuff. Some people just want to print, and they don't want to deal with a forum, and they don't want to deal with 20 questions. They'd rather buy a printer and have you come down and fix it or bring it to your shop. So I do think there's a market for 3D printing businesses. It's not just me blowing smoke up everyone's butt and just, you know, I just think you got to be smart where your overhead's light, but you still have a lot of reach, and it's going to be a challenge. But when I started my first business in 2012, I started it with $2,000, and everyone thought I was insane. And even I didn't quit my job. I got fired from my job for not for performance issues, but for I wouldn't give up a vacation that I was already promised, a 30-day vacation, a 30-day break that I was already told I could have. I bought plane tickets, and then the boss said he couldn't let me go for 30 days when it came time to leave. So he just gave me an ultimatum. It's either, you know, you quit or I fire you, or you don't go to the vacation or whatever, something like that. And I just stuck to my guns, and I made that before he can even get filed for unemployment. That business was already making money. So I feel like I can do it again. Now, granted, internet sales are a lot different than they were just 6 or 7 years ago. A lot of people say, well, online's where the money's at. The truth is, there's no safe place to make money. 7 years ago when I started my first website, Amazon was big. Of course, they've been a billion-dollar company for like 20 years, but they weren't as prevalent as they are now. Now they've literally decimated e-commerce. I mean, I remember when I used to buy graphics cards from Newegg. Now Newegg's an afterthought. I don't even think about them. So yeah, it's scary times, and hopefully I didn't ramble too much. And I hope you enjoyed the content. I mean, you know, it's rare to get a glimpse into someone's world. I need to make a mental note to look into the lens. And hey guys, take care and good luck. See you in the next one.